So I thought I might show how I make my bread. This is my bread bowl. Pretty much all I use it for is to make bread, so the fact that there's like crap stuck to the side, that's just old bread. It's not a problem. Don't have to worry about that shit. It's not in the way. So, I got water. Actually just got that from my barrels outside. So normally I throw it in the fridge right away. But I thought, while it's somewhat warm, I might as well make some bread. So we need flour. Let's see. There's not much. A little bit of oil, salt, yeast. I use Distiller's Active Dry Yeast, and a little bit of brown sugar to feed it a little bit quicker. And use a fork to stir shit. And a 1 cup measuring cup, just so that I can get. I'm not measuring it very carefully. The flour is the only ingredient that I sort of measure, but I'm not really measuring it. I know that just over a cup is about perfect for like 1 pizza dough. So if I do in the ballpark of 2.5 cups, more or less, that's perfect. Because I like to make enough for 2 at a time. Cook. And a little more. Don't sweat it. If it's not perfect, it gives a shit. What we're looking for is the texture, the consistency of it. And then for that amount of flour, about that much salt, whatever the hell that is, I don't know. I ran out of little clips, so I have these 2 clipped together. Hey, economy. And then just some of that. That should be plenty. Don't fucking all spill. And some of this, just to kind of kickstart the yeast. It's going to sit so long that pretty much the sugar is all going to get eaten up by the yeast. It does add a little bit of character to the flavor, but it's not much, because like I said, the yeast pretty much eats it all. This is actually the most time-consuming part, just closing up these fucking bags. There's one more ingredient. Use a little olive oil. So the way I'm making it, it'll produce a nice sort of Italian-style bread very easily. So you want to make focaccias, pizza doughs, ciabatta. Mostly the difference between those is how you cook it, how you prepare it in the pan, or whatever your cooking surface is, and then the temperatures at which you cook it. For a ciabatta, you'd add a little more water, so it's like a batter almost, and then you let that sit, roll that out, and then cook it at very high temperatures. For a focaccia, you'll use about pretty much what I'm doing here, and then you like put it into an oiled pan and top it however you like. And a pizza is almost exactly the same as that, except conventionally you'll top it with considerably more things, and usually also tomato sauce. And yeah. And my bowl is broken. Not the end of the world, doesn't matter. Same bowl I used in the previous videos. Same bowl I hope to use for a long time. Just because something's a little bit dinged up doesn't mean you get rid of it. Unless you're a jackass.
Oh no, my car has a flat tire. I need a new car.
Okay. Like that joke in Frasier. Remember what Maris used to do when the dog got dirty? Yeah, she gave it a bath and Perrier or whatever. Well, half the time she'd just get a new dog. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are like that with most stuff. So, like, if you got a fancy electric blender or whatever the hell, go for it. I don't give a shit. But you don't need that. Like, honestly, like, you could grab a stick off a tree and do this with it. It's not that fancy. Like, you don't have to go out and buy equipment to make bread. What the fuck? It's like one of the oldest foods in recorded history. And you think you have to go buy fancy new equipment to make this? That equipment that was just invented last weekend? What the hell is wrong with you? Like, are you serious? Are you serious right now? You think you need a bread maker to make bread? What? Why? Why do you think that? What the hell is going on here? I don't know why I still have this out. Maybe another swig. You need an electric mixer to make bread? Right. Why? Why do you think that? Why do you allow stupidity to dominate your thoughts and your life and your beliefs? You have a brain. Why the fuck don't you use it? That's better. That's looking better. Yep. So it's like, I can really feel it. I don't know if you can see it. It's like, when I like draw the fork across it, well, not so much anymore because I've sort of crumbled it. But yeah, right there, right there. When I draw the fork across it, it sort of peels. You get these. It's kind of covering it with dust, so I don't know if you can see it at all. But you can really feel it. It feels like I'm dragging it across like a washboard road. That's what I'm looking for. That's the consistency I'm looking for right there. That means I've got just the right amount of oil in there. So it looks pretty dry, right? So like really the oil is just kind of, it's mixed in and sort of just contacting like all of the flour that's in there. That's really all we're looking for. So like see that where it was pressed up against the flat surface, that looks wet. But once I work that in, it'll, oh, right there, I can feel it. So right there, there's a really smooth surface. When I draw the fork across it, that like flaking. If I do it with my finger, it doesn't happen. It's the fork does it really nicely. It grates it kind of like cheese. And if you do this first, if you mix the oil in first, it becomes way more even and it cooks better. It's easier to get the water in. It's easier to knead it. It's better all around. To just sort of, whenever you're putting your fats in, just basically turn it into a crumble. Like always, from the start. Also, when you're making like a pie and you want to make a crumble, you have that skill because you do it all the time. It's not like a separate thing that you have to know or learn or whatever. It's just, this is how you make things. Just make it this one way, and life becomes way easier. So now this water is going to mix in real quick, real easy. It's going to just kind of settle in around the oil. There's no competition for the oil and the water separating or fighting each other, because there's nowhere else for the water to go now. There's nowhere for the oil to go. It's already attached to all of the flour and salt and whatever particles that are in there. So you don't have to fight to work them both in at the same time when they don't want to cooperate, when they want to separate from each other. Right? I call this not being fucking stupid. And I've never seen anybody show you how to make bread this way. Well, breads that have fats in them. I've never seen anybody say it before. I'm sure there are people who say it before. I'm not saying there aren't, but I've never seen it. So I'm saying it so that you can benefit from this knowledge. It makes it easier, way easier. Trust me. Now my main concern is that it'll stick to my hands. The oil in the dough, though, will greatly reduce that from happening. It's still happening a little bit, but particularly since I'm a Sasquatch, this is something that I actually had to like pay attention to learn how to not get shit to stick to me, because it starts sticking to my hair. I got problems. It hurts for days because the little balls dry up on the hair and they don't come off. And then you like rip them off and it rips out the hair, and it's like removing a band-aid. It's not good. It's not good. Do not recommend. It's slightly more water than this. So now it's really sticking to my fingers. What I mostly want to avoid is getting it stuck back here, because it's really hard to work if it starts sticking back here. Sticks to your fingers, that's easy. It just pulls off real easy. And one thing you can do is just get a little bit of olive oil on your hands and just rub it into your skin. And it'll pretty much, if it's close to the right consistency, that'll stop it. If it's really, really too wet, it's not going to work. It's not going to do anything. So here, there's a wet spot right there, and it's getting all over the palm of my hand there. But the rest of it is like just about perfect, so I think just do this a little bit. It's not going to be a problem. Because I got it worked into a dough enough before that happened, so you pulled it all back off. Not a problem. And just keep it out of my hair for the most part. And like, oh, this is something that I don't really understand. People who like say you have to knead it for like a half hour or something. The fuck are you talking about? You're crazy. I'm just gonna knead it a little bit, just to kind of make sure everything is mixed in. The water is pretty evenly distributed. That's the main thing, because I already distributed everything else really evenly before that. So it's really just making sure that the water is distributed evenly, and that there's no like when I pull the dough out, there's no crap, just, you know, little chunks or whatever, or flour just sitting there in the bowl. It's all in here. And I will knead it a little bit, but I'm almost done kneading it. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let it sit for like an hour, punch it down, and like maybe knead it a couple times and like throw it back and forth between my hands like this. And then let it rest for a little bit longer. And that's it. So there's like maybe a total of 5 minutes of kneading it. However long this has been. I'm talking through it, so you normally don't do it exactly this way. But so like here, I want to show you this. So it's lumpy. It looks like if I was to bake this right now, it's gonna make something like the little biscuits that you get at fucking Red Lobster. That's what it looks like it's gonna make. It's gonna make little like quick bread biscuits. That's not the texture I'm gonna end up with. I'm gonna end up with a very smooth texture. But what's gonna happen? I let this sit. The yeast is gonna work, process that wheat. It's gonna break it down a little bit. The gluten is gonna be released a little bit more. And when I come back to it in like an hour or so, and I knead it just a little bit, that gluten is going to be much more accessible, and it's going to produce a much softer, finer bread than what this is. And I don't have to kill myself doing it. I don't have to spend 30 minutes kneading it. I spend maybe a total of 5 minutes kneading it, because I'm not fucking stupid. And then, so yeah, that's about it right there. And then I cover it, and I just use a plate. Like you can use whatever, but I just use a plate. That way, even if it comes up, if it rises all the way up and it sticks to the plate, just scrape it off the plate. And now you have all of it. If it rises up and it sticks to like a cloth or a paper towel or something, now you have a fucking mess on your hands. Again, it's another way of just not being fucking stupid. There you go. That's it. Super hard, isn't it?